Welcome to biology class, children. We had complete 3 classes, right? We studied the development of male gametophyte pollen grain and female gametophyte embryo sac. Today we are continuing with the same lesson, sexual reproduction in flowering plants, the topic pollination. Today we are going to discuss about the topic pollination. I know that pollination is a familiar topic to you, but in class 12 we have to study in detail about pollination, types of pollination and pollinating agents. Okay, let's start the class. We know that flowers are responsible for the process of fertilization and seed formation. But to facilitate seed formation, the pollen grain has to be transferred to stigma. That process is known as pollination. So how can we define pollination? Pollination is a process of transfer of pollen grain to stigma and brought about with the help of pollinating agents. Okay, so this pollination can be divided into two as self-pollination and cross-pollination. Okay, so I will show you a flow chart. The types of pollination is exhibited in this flow chart. So here we can see two types of pollination, self-pollination and cross-pollination. Cross-pollination is also known as xenogamy. What is self-pollination? If the pollination takes place on the same plant, it is known as self-pollination. It is again divided into two as autogamy and geitonogamy. Okay, and cross-pollination is happening with the help of both abiotic factors such as wind and water and abiotic factors such as insects, bats, snails and birds. This is a diagrammatic representation of self-pollination. Here we can see anthers that produce a male gametophyte pollen and stigma which receives the pollen. We know that self-pollination can occur either through autogamy and geitonogamy. So first we can discuss autogamy. Pollination is achieved within the same flower is said to be autogamy. Okay, pollination is achieved within the same flower, it is autogamy. This type of pollination is seen in both cleistogamous and chasmogamous flowers, but it rarely occur in chasmogamous flowers. What is the difference between cleistogamous and chasmogamous flowers? Cleistogamous flowers are the flowers which never open at all. That means they never exposed their anther and stigma. Whereas chasmogamous flowers are the exposed flowers. Okay, I will show you one diagram. So in this diagram we can see both chasmogamous flowers and cleistogamous flowers. That means exposed flowers and never exposed flowers. Clear? And in the process of autogamy, the flowers should be show a synchrony in their pollen release and the receptivity of stigma. And the stigma should lie close to each other. The anthers and stigma of flowers lies very close to each other. When anther dehisces, pollen grain get deposited on the stigma and it results in seed formation even in the absence of pollinators. Okay, so in cleistogamous flowers, this process of autogamy is invariably seen and because there is no chance for cross-pollination. Okay, whereas in chasmogamous flowers, autogamy is rarely occur because they open all the time and exposed their anthers and stigma. So autogamy is clear now. Next one is geitonogamy. Here, transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of another flower of same plant. Okay, another flower of same plant. And it is said that geitonogamy is functionally cross-pollination and genetically autogamy. Most of the question paper we can see this question. This is a repeatedly asked question. You know the answer, children? Why geitonogamy is said to be functionally cross-pollination? Because it involving a pollinating agent. But it is genetically similar to autogamy since the pollen grains come from the same plant. Okay, is it clear? Next one, xenogamy or cross-pollination. Transfer of pollen grain from the anther to the stigma of another plant. So in this diagram it is clear. So here we can see self-pollination. What is self-pollination? Anther to the same flower, to the stigma of same flower. This is autogamy. Okay, to the same flower. Here to the another flower of same plant. That is geitonogamy. Whereas cross-pollination, what is cross-pollination? Xenogamy, transfer of pollen grain from anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower by involving pollinating agents. This is very simple, right? Next, we are going to discuss about pollinating agents. Pollinating agents. We know that plants use both biotic agents and abiotic agents to achieve pollination. Majority of plants use biotic agents for pollination. Only a small proportion of plants use abiotic agents. Okay, pollen grains come in contact with the stigma is a chance factor in both wind and water pollination. That means in the case of abiotic agents. To compensate for these uncertainties and associated loss of pollen grains, the flowers produce enormous amount of pollen when compared to the number of ovules available for pollination. Clear? So we are starting with abiotic factor, wind, that means pollination by wind, or it is also known as anemophily. Okay, so in this diagram we can see a wind pollinated flower, right? So wind pollinated flowers should have the following features. So what are the features? No scent or nectary. Petals are very small and green as there is no need to attract insects. Then anthers are exposed to wind so that pollen can easily be blown away. Stigma are feathery to catch pollen carried on wind. Then pollen grains are very small and sticky and they occur very large in number. Clear? These are the features that should be there in a wind pollinated flower. Clear? Next abiotic agent is water. It is quite rare in flowering plants and is limited to about 30 genera. Okay, not all aquatic plants use this water pollination. In majority of water plants, they emerge above the level of water and are pollinated by insects and wind. But some water plants are pollinated by water. One among them is Vallisneria. Okay, in Vallisneria, the female flower reaches the surface of water by long stalk. So this is pistillate flower, this is female plant, this is staminate flower, this is male plant. Okay, and male flowers release the pollen onto the water and they are carried passively by water currents. I will show you one more figure. Okay, it is very clear. This is female flower, this is male flower, pollen grains released to water and water currents carries the pollen grains. Clear? And another water plant is seagrass. On it, the female flowers remain submerged in water and pollen grains are released inside the water. And in most of the water pollinated species, pollen grains are protected from wetting by a mucilaginous covering. Clear, children? Not only abiotic factors, the biotic agents such as bees, butterflies, beetles, wasps, ants, moths, birds, bats, etc. are helping in the process of pollination. Okay. First of all, we can discuss about pollination by insects. We know that insect pollinated flowers are large, colorful, fragrant and rich in nectar, isn't it? But when the flowers are small, the number of flowers are clustered in inflorescence like this. Okay, animals are attracted by color and fragrance, and flowers are attracted by flies and beetles. They secrete a foul odor, okay, foul smell. And to sustain the animal visit, the flowers has to provide nectar and pollen grain as rewards. The body of animal gets a coating of pollen grain, which are sticky in animal pollinated flowers. In some flowers, reward are in providing safe places to lay egg. It is commonly found in a flower called Amorphophallus. It is the largest flower, and here we can see they provide a safe place to lay eggs. Can you see the diagram? Okay. And another example, yucca plant and moth. The relationship is seen in between yucca plant and moth. and here moth deposit its egg in the locule, that means ovarian cavity, and gets pollinated by the moth. Okay children, so we can conclude today's topic. We discussed that pollination can be of two types, self-pollination and cross-pollination. Self-pollination, if the pollination takes place within the same flower, it is termed as autogamy, and it takes place between the flowers of the same plant, it is geitonogamy. Okay, cross-pollination is also known as xenogamy. It is happening with the help of pollinating agents. It may be biotic factors and abiotic factors. If it is by wind, and the term used to denote wind pollination as anemophily, it's by water, hydrophily. And abiotic factors, insects, bats, snails, bird, etc. are helping for the cross pollination. If it is by insects, we use the term entomophily. If it is by bat, chiropterophily. By snails, malacophily. By birds, ornithophily. Children, you should study these terms. Okay. So that was about pollination. So we can expect questions from this topic for theory examination and practical examination. So study the topic well, study the notes and textbook, and write the test paper well. If any doubts are there, ask me. Okay. So we can meet in the next class. Till then, bye.